Today we are going to affirm about a very interesting thing, which is renunciation. First, let me read what Swami Kriyananda says about renunciation. Renunciation means turning one's back on non-essentials, that we may give our whole attention to the Lord. We might think of renunciation as an investment, which initially seems a loss, but in time becomes multiplied to many times its original worth. The least gift that we give to God will return to us in divine blessings a thousandfold. Renunciation means nothing less than the gift of God of oneself. Renunciation is of the heart. It isn't what you wear or the outward rules you follow. When you renounce all for God, you hold that renunciation as a precious secret between you and Him. All your desires, all your ambitions, then are for God alone. Now, it is interesting how renunciation, the idea of renunciation, has been very distorted in the past. Renunciation, when you hear the word renunciation, you usually think of things which you are not supposed to do. You cannot uh, own anything, you cannot marry, you cannot um, live like a normal human being, and you have to dress differently, and you have to vow yourself to poverty. Well, it works, but it doesn't mean that following all the rules will necessarily take you towards God. Swami Kriyananda, in his book Renunciate Order for the New Age, introduces this concept, or redefines, not even to say redefines, he uh, clarifies that renunciation should be bliss affirming, samadhi affirming, and not world renouncing. It is interesting because Paramhansa Yogananda said that we renounce the unnecessary necessities of us. Our body has numerous demands, our mind has numerous demands from us. So it takes a lot of our energy and our time to satisfy our body needs and to satisfy what we think is necessities. Now, Paramhansa Yogananda classifies all these things as unnecessary necessities. He says, do not uh, give up the spiritual goal for a fool's gold of material desires. He says, save time by denying the unnecessary necessities and invest that saved time in meditation and God communion, so that you find the necessary necessity of this life, which is peace and happiness. And in uh, the book Renunciate Order of New Age, Swami Kriyananda also says that it is not important what we renounce, or the number of outer rules we follow in life, but it is very important to renounce the ego. He also says that it is important to renounce the attachment and possessions, sex indulgence, and self will. But it is even more important, it is even easier to renounce the ego. As the reading says, all your desires, all your ambitions, then are for Him alone. So, what we call as life is a certain period, a small period of time where we live here. And that's all we have. Everything else, we leave it back. What we think our possessions are. It might be our house, it might be a car, it might be our money or relationship. Everything we leave behind. The only thing we really have is time. Now, this time has to be wisely invested in seeking God and not be wasted in spending or seeking unnecessary necessities. Now, I like to also read from the book Autobiography of a Yogi. This is about Bahaduri Mahashaya. One of the disciples said to Bahaduri Mahashaya, "Master, you are wonderful." A student, taking his leave, gazed lovingly at the saint. "You have renounced riches and comforts to seek God and teach us wisdom." It was well known that Bahaduri Mahashaya had forsaken great family wealth in his early childhood when single mindedly he entered the path of yoga. And Bahaduri Mahashaya replied to his disciple, "You are reversing the case." The saint's face held a mild rebuke. "I have left a few paltry rupees, a few petty pleasures, for a cosmic empire of endless bliss. How then have I denied myself anything? I know the joy of sharing the treasure. Is that a sacrifice? The short sighted worldly folk are verily the real renunciates. They relinquish an unparalleled divine possession for a poor handful of earthly toys." So Baduri Mahashaya, a saint, says the people who go after earthly pleasures are the real renunciates because they have given up an empire of cosmic bliss, which is God. Now let's affirm that we too are blessed with the with renunciate, the true attitude of renunciation in our life. First, we will repeat the affirmation out loud to command the attention of our conscious mind, and then in a softer voice so that the meaning seeps into our mind, and in a whisper so that the meaning of the affirmation enters our subconscious mind, and finally, only mentally we will repeat the affirmation. Now, please join me in affirming: I spurn the tempting magic of this world with its rainbow bubbles, ever ready to burst. See where I fly, high above the tall mountains. I am free. I am free. I spurn the tempting magic of this world with its rainbow bubbles, ever ready to burst. See where I fly, high above the tall mountains. I am free. I am free. I spurn the tempting magic of this world with its rainbow bubbles ever ready to burst. See where I fly, high above the tall mountains. I am free. I am free. Now, in a softer voice, I spurn the tempting magic of this world with its rainbow bubbles ever ready to burst. See where I fly, high above the tall mountains. I am free. I am free. I spurn the tempting magic of this world, with its rainbow bubbles ever ready to burst. See where I fly, high above the tall mountains. I am free. I am free. Now, in a whisper, I, sp- I spurn the tempting magic of this world, with its rainbow bubbles ever ready to burst. See where I fly, high above the tall mountains. I am free. I am free. I spurn the tempting magic of this world, with its rainbow bubbles ever ready to burst. See where I fly, high above the tall mountains. I am free. I am free. I spurn the tempting magic of this world, which is with its rainbow bubbles ever ready to burst. See where I fly, high above the tall mountains. I am free. I am free. Now mentally only, repeat with me. I spurn the tempting magic of this world, with its rainbow bubbles ever ready to burst. See where I fly, high above the tall mountains. I am free. I am free. I spurn the tempting magic of this world, with its rainbow bubbles ever ready to burst. See where I fly, high above the tall mountains. I am free. I am free. I spurn the tempting magic of this world, with its rainbow bubbles ever ready to burst. See where I fly, high above the tall mountains. I am free. I am free. Pray with me to God. Lord, help me to see that in no outward experience will I ever find fulfillment. All that my heart has ever sought awaits me in Thee. Om.